We all hear those stories, don't we? The myth of the tireless entrepreneur. 20 hours a day, just pure ambition. Maybe some coffee.
Right, that sort of Silicon Valley legend. But getting past that myth, finding some actual evidence,
Yeah.
that's harder.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing today. We've got this single snapshot. It's an account from someone who was actually there recently observing Elon Musk.
Yeah, and it details the sheer intensity. It's not just he works hard. It's
Yeah.
more specific, like an operational report almost.
Yeah.
Gives you a real window.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because it connects two things that sometimes feel separate. The crazy long hours and what he's actually focusing on during those hours.
That's the interesting part.
So our mission really is to figure out what this specific snapshot tells us. What does this level of intensity actually mean?
What's great about this source is the firsthand observation. The person was there, they saw the sequence of the day.
Right.
It lets us look at, the difference between just managing from the top and really getting deep into the operational side, especially when it goes way past midnight.
Okay, let's start with the hours, because that's what jumped out at me first. The Observer says, Elon Musk still works incredibly hard. I visited him recently. I left around midnight, and he was still working. Midnight. That's already, that's a long day for anyone, let alone running a huge company.
A very long day. And that's just when the Observer left.
Yeah.
They then kind of guess, based on what they saw, adding, I think he must have gone till 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. That's the number we're looking at.
Yeah.
If you figure, a 9 or 10 a.m. start, maybe.
Could be.
You're talking a 16, maybe 17-hour day.
Yeah.
Consistently, pushing right into the next morning.
Okay, but let's put that into context for a second. If you're working like that, day after day, finishing at 2 a.m., what does that do to your decision-making right then and there? We know about sleep debt, cognitive function, making huge calls at, say, 1:30 in the morning.
Right.
What's the risk level there?
That's the core tension, isn't it? It's this trade-off.
Yeah.
On one side, you get this huge output. You do more stuff than competitors on normal schedules. That's the relentless work ethic part.
Right.
But the other side is the physical cost. It's real. You're basically swapping long-term health, maybe, for immediate speed, accelerated development.
And the Observer, they don't just leave it as he works late. They make this big comparison.
Yeah, that part's powerful.
They say, I don't know anybody who works as hard as him.
And think about who this Observer probably knows. CEOs, VCs, top engineers,
Yeah.
people who already work incredibly hard.
Right, high achievers.
So for them to say this level is unique, singular,
Hmm.
it implies it's not just hard work. It's like resetting the definition of hard work,
Mhm.
pushing the absolute limit.
So it's an endurance thing. The sheer volume of time creates this, operational advantage. You just outwork the competition.
Very much.
But hang on, doesn't that raise a flag? If the CEO of multiple huge companies has to be there solving problems until 2 a.m., is that good leadership? Or is it?
Micromanage.
Yeah, or a failure to delegate. Don't you trust your team?
That's the critical question you have to ask. The usual assumption is, as you scale, the CEO moves up. Strategy, finance, big picture stuff.
Right.
But this source suggests that model doesn't quite fit here. Now, if he was just, signing papers or reading reports until 2 a.m.
That'd be different. Inefficient, maybe.
Exactly. But if that time is spent deep in the technical stuff, it suggests he's providing something specific, some expertise that maybe can't be easily delegated.
Okay, and that's the pivot, because the source is explicit about this. It's not just hours, it's what he's doing. Quote, he's really in the technical details of it.
And this is where it gets really interesting for leadership analysis.
Yeah.
Because the traditional CEO in a big company, they're like the conductor of an orchestra,
Yeah.
right? They hire the best musicians, trust them with the notes, focus on the overall performance, the audience reaction.
Yep.
But this model, it's like the conductor is not just leading, but also going down into the orchestra pit, tuning the violins, checking the clarinet reeds, arguing about the acoustics.
So hands-on with the instruments themselves, not just waving the baton.
Exactly. That level of technical immersion, especially way up at the CEO level, it has huge implications.
With what? Why would you do that?
Well, think about Tesla. Why would the CEO need to be deep in battery architecture details? Because shaving off a tiny bit of weight or improving the thermal dynamics just slightly.
That's not just an engineering tweak.
No, it's a fundamental competitive edge. It can change the whole market for EVs. Same with SpaceX, I imagine.
Especially with something like Starship, right? where the problems are totally new. There's no textbook for building that.
Precisely. You can't just wait for a summary report to bubble up through 3 layers of VPs if you're trying to solve problems that no one's ever solved before.
So being in the technical details shortens the feedback loop.
Drastically. Think about it. An engineering team hits a wall. They need a decision on, say, a specific alloy for a rocket part. It's tolerance under stress.
Yeah.
A technically deep leader. They can grasp the trade-offs almost instantly. They understand the physics, the material science. They can make the call.
Instead of needing weeks of presentations to get a non-technical CEO up to speed.
Exactly. You skip all that. It cuts out the risk of, the message getting distorted as it moves up the chain. The telephone game you mentioned.
That speed, that rapid iteration, you can see how that accelerates things. But you can't get that speed if you're only working 9 to 5.
You absolutely can't. The two things, the 2 a.m. finish line and the deep technical focus, they're linked. They feed each other. The hours enable the depth.
And it's not just general tech stuff, right? When the source says technical details, we can assume it's specifics.
Oh, for sure. Reviewing mass calculations for Starship, digging into AI training data for self-driving, analyzing why a machine on the assembly line keeps jamming. It's domain-specific, highly specialized.
Which brings up a question, maybe for you, the listener, thinking about your own work. What's the real cost if the person at the very top completely delegates all the technical understanding? In many tech companies, maybe the CEO ends up just managing something someone else truly created and understands. This source suggests maybe real disruption needs the leader to stay an expert.
It definitely puts a huge burden on that one person, no question.
Yeah.
But the flip side is, it ensures the vision driving the engineering is completely integrated with the strategy.
How so?
Well, if you as a leader personally understand the absolute limits of material science or rocket propulsion, you're probably less likely to set strategic goals that are physically impossible or just unnecessarily complex. Your strategy stays grounded in reality.
So it sounds like in this specific approach, the speed you gain from that tight technical feedback loop is considered more valuable than the risks. The risk of burnout, decision fatigue.
It seems that way. It looks like an accepted trade-off, a deliberate choice.
The cost of not doing it that way, the delay, letting competitors catch up, waiting for reviews, is seen as higher than the human cost of the 2 a.m. finishes.
That feels like the right framing. Speed and precision are prioritized.
Okay, so if we pull these two threads together, what we see is a work style defined by, 1, sheer intensity working until 2 a.m. isn't an exception, it's maybe the norm, and 2, deep immersion. Not just overseeing, but being fundamentally in the technical weeds. It's not just a busy CEO. It's like an executive engineer.
Yeah, an executive engineer. And that description, it really makes you question the standard playbook for modern leadership, doesn't it? Especially in these really fast-moving, super technical fields.
How so?
Well, this account raises a big question about innovation itself. To get the kind of radical change we see with, say, Starship or Tesla, does it require that level of personal, hands-on technical involvement from the very top? Does it demand something beyond the traditional CEO role?
It suggests the job isn't just strategy and finance. It's deeply operational, deeply engineering focused. It needs a mastery you'd normally expect from a CTO or a lead engineer.
Right. Like the CEO never really stopped being the chief engineer, in a way.
Yeah.
So maybe the final thought, the thing to really chew on. Consider what this implies. This approach, it clearly gets results, fast results, in these specific areas.
Yeah.
But wow, does it raise the bar for what a leader needs to be capable of?
You mean personally?
Yeah, personally. What level of actual personal technical mastery do you need at the absolute top to drive disruption at this speed? And maybe more importantly, is that model scalable? Can others do it? Can a whole organization run like that long term?
Is that 2 a.m. technical deep dive the secret sauce for changing the world? Or is it just a one-off, something tied so tightly to one individual's unique knowledge and drive that nobody else could really replicate it?
Exactly. That's something interesting for you, the listener, to think about. How does technical depth intersect with leadership in your world? Something to mull over.